Friends, for the past few periods or so, we have been talking about Badal Sarkars beyond the land of Hatamala, an interesting play having the two thieves as the central characters. As you know very well, that beyond the land of Hatamala is the story of Kenaram and Becharam, who are the products of this contemporary capitalistic society. As you know, the play opens with an attempt of Kena and Becha when they try to make a robbery in the Zamindar's house in a village. But unfortunately, they were caught. And of course, anyhow, these two could escape themselves from the clutches of the villagers. In the meantime, they take shelter in the stud of the cows, where a few cows are kept under a shelter. But again, they were identified and they have to run away from the place. And finally, they jump into the river in order to save themselves from the villagers. See, the kind of life that Kena and Becha lived so far, it is purely a capitalistic, mercantile, money-centric, material life that they have been living since beginning till now. In order to save themselves from the villagers, once they jump into the river, the phase of their transformation begins. Their hard efforts to save themselves while swimming in the river, that too in the turbulent current of the river, symbolizes their struggle in life. They have been running away from the people. They have been running away from the police. They have been running away from the law. So their life was full of struggles. And of course, the capitalistic, mercantile, material world have made them so that they have become the thieves and started stealing things here and there. But now you see how Badal Sarkar is going to induct a total contradictory world that the Kena and Becha lived so far, and once they are landing up to a wonderful land, they will live in the near future. If you really see, in the thematic point of view, Badal Sarkar is trying to convince us that all of us are living in this contemporary society and we have become the victim of capitalistic, mercantile, material, money-centric world, where no value to the human beings and their lives, but much more importance to the material gain, money, and capital. And once Kena and Becha could swim through the river, that too in the turbulent current of the river, and find themselves on the other shore, that too somewhere at the unknown land, I think their experience is totally different than that they had earlier. So here you can say, in the symbolical point of view, the river is a divide between the capitalistic world and the socialist world. On one side of the river, the people live a money-centered life, and on the other side you have the communist principle of life, and all the resources of the nation are equally distributed among all the citizens of the country. So this river plays a crucial role in making a clear division of two ideological stances that we could find in this particular play. After crossing the waves of the river, as you know, Kena and Becha reach out to a very strange land. Why do I call it a strange land? Because this is the land that they never visited. This is the land where they find a different society and a community. This is the land where they find the absence of money, the absence of cash. And once they take one after the other experiences over there, they kept on realizing the kind of comfort there in the strange land and the kind of trouble there in the capitalistic society to which they originally belonged to. You know that? Right from the beginning of the play, we have seen Kena and Becha are really afraid of cops or police or law, jail and all these, because they are really frightened of because of their profession that they adopted. They are the professional thieves. So once they landed on this strange, wonderful land, they find no police at all. They kept on making a comparison also. Whatever they heard about Kolkata, that at every square the cops are found, And if at all you do anything wrong, the police will run after you, catch hold of you, take you to the court, and finally to the jail. So these two are very much conscious of the situation in the capitalistic bourgeois society. But on the other hand, the kind of scenario that they experience, the kind of scenario that they witness is totally contradicted. You know that as soon as they are landed on this land, Becha felt thirsty and they were searching for some water in order to pacify their thirst. So when they inquire to the humble people of the community, they frankly tell that, especially in this region, there is a scarcity of water. You may not find any public tap, but just move forward a bit, you will come across a counter there that of the sweet coconut water. You can pacify your thirst. Now you see the psychological implication going on in the mind of Kena and Becha. They were worried, we are out of money. We are into this strange land. We don't have a single penny to pay in order to buy anything. Now they are moving forward to have, a sip of water. That is, they are going to have a couple of coconuts. And they have nothing, literally nothing to pay to the shopkeeper. Finally, they reach out to the place. They had a couple of coconut. They pacified their thirst and finally left the place without paying anything. And in fact, nobody asked for it also. They simply, told from their end to the old lady who was looking after the counter that anyway they are going to come back to the same route. They'll pay the next day. The lady was really surprised to listen to such kind of talk. What these two are really talking about? What are they going to pay me tomorrow? Because none of the citizens over there know about the currency or cash or money kind of thing. So this was really a very strange thing for Kena and Becha. So what happens in the course of time? These two come to a conclusion that probably the people of this particular wonderful land are idiots. This is the word that they have used. I'm simply quoting from the text. And then they start inquiring the people of the community about police, about some other locations over here. They inquired about the jail also, prison also. So the people of the community took it on the people of the community understood in a different way and sent them to a restaurant where they could have good food. So eventually Kena and Becha were also feeling very much hungry by that time. So they went over there and found that many people do come over there, have their meals and go off. There are a few people, those who are serving at the restaurant. There is a proprietor also who is looking after all these requirements. They went to the restaurant. They were requested by the proprietor to occupy a place. The service people over there started serving them food. They had full meals. Afterwards, they had dessert also. And finally went off without paying anything. Again, they experienced that nobody asked for money. This was the second surprise to them. And now they started thinking that since these people do not invent the concept like money or currency, hence they are terribly backward. See, the another label given by Becha to the people of this community. He calls them terribly backward people because they drank coconut without money. They had food at the restaurant without money. They kept on discussing with them about money, cash, give and take, bargain, ornaments, gold. All these things have no value and no significance in this land. So they started, calling the local people as the backward people. So Kena and Becha realized that the people are really very humble and can be cheated very easily. So once in the evening time, little bit late hours, they carried their poker and other tools that they really use for, making holes in the walls. And they went to the restaurant, that to the backside of the restaurant, and they made a very proper, perfect hole in the wall in order to steal the valuables and the plates which are available there in the restaurant. But they were caught red-handed by the localites. And they were questioned, why did you make the hole over here? What is the purpose of making the hole? When you have the door open all the time, you can come or you can enter to the premises of the restaurant from the main gate, main door. Why do you make such a hole? So here they say that anyway you caught us red-handed, you take us to the police. You take us to the court. You keep us there in the prison. But the people never understood the words like police or jail or prison or court and so on and so on. So here they kept on, later on discussing about so many things, and later they came to know that whatever the people get over here, they don't pay anything in exchange. Water is freely available, amenities are freely available, food is freely available, facilities are created for everybody, anybody can come and utilize. No issue at all. Then there was a talk with the people about the library and the museum. In fact, these two say that in our hometown, there is some charge for the library. Don't you charge for the subscription of the library? Again, the people realize, what do you mean by subscription? We don't have subscription here at all. Everything is freely accessible. If you want, you just go to the library, you will find gold ornaments, silver ornaments, or some sample currencies of different countries. They are kept over there and they are easily accessible to everybody. If you want, you can take it away, no issue. Again, there was another surprise for them, that gold and silver is kept in the library in the open stocks, and anybody can take it away by entering the name in the register. That was all. So all these surprises that they are getting one after the other is actually creating a contradictory picture to the materialistic world that we are living in. And that's why the author has also given the title, Beyond the Land of Hatamala. So we people, as your Kena and Becha, are the citizens of the Hatamala. Hatamala is a place which is a capitalistic place. Hatamala is a place which is a material world. Hatamala is a place where the liberalization, globalization, privatization, this LPG policy is being implemented. And Badal Sarkar, being the playwright of this play, criticizing the free market policy, and trying to give us the total contradictory picture of communism and socialism. What are the fundamental values of communism and socialism? As Karl Marx has always, promoted that whatever capital the capitalists have, the first right on this capital is that of the workers, the common men and women, those who are working hard for the development of the company, corporation, country, any unit, manufacturing unit, whatever. So here, Karl Marx has promoted the communist ideology, and in the communist ideology, in the socialist ideology, you have a basic principle of making the division and distribution of all the resources of the country equally among all the people of the country, irrespective of caste, creed, religion. No other criteria is being followed. All are equal, equal contribution, equal weightage, equal work, equal importance, everything equal. Nobody is given with a more prominence over that. See the contradiction over here. What happens here in the capitalistic world and what is actually happening over there in the wonderful, strange land that Kena and Becha experience every day. So they are really, finding it more interesting that the people are using flower ornaments than using gold or silver jewelry. And then Kena thinks of, okay, we will steal the jewelry from the library. Becha asks them, what do you do after stealing the jewelry from the library? Kena says, I will sell it off. Where do you sell? These people do not buy because they don't have money and they don't need it also. So what do you do? If at all you steal it also. Then Kena says, I'll go back to Kolkata. I will dispose these, stolen, things or goods and I'll make money. But here, Becha thinks on a different line. He tries to convince Kena on a different idea, but both of them are unable to coordinate properly. But here, eventually, you come to know an interesting development in the play. When Kena and Becha, as they were moving towards the library, actually they come down to a place where there is a shop, that of a barber and a shoe shop. So first of all, both of them, get a couple of pairs for themselves instead of shoes. Later on, they went to the barber's shop. After shaving themselves from the barber, then they sat outside somewhere and started thinking about what to do and what not. Kena did not say anything for long. He was simply introspecting certain issues. In the meantime, Becha requested him, let us go for the restaurant, let us have something, we'll pay a visit to the library. Kena was not in a mood to listen. Finally, Becha went alone. He had some breakfast over there in the restaurant first, followed by his visit to the library. He went over there, found all these gold and silver ornaments kept in open shelves. He picks up one gold watch and a few more things, registered his name over there and came out. Again approached Kena, who was still sitting over there at the same place. Then both of them had a brawl. Kena objected that he alone went to the library and borrowed the things instead of stealing. And he tells him that I am the person, that is Kena is the person who taught him how to steal, how to use poker. In fact, he was his trainer for making him a thief, a professional thief. So there is a brawl between the two. But eventually what happens, the people of the community felt that as they are into a brawl, probably these are the games of Hatamala. So again, I'll tell you one thing. Hatamala is nothing but our place. That is capitalistic world. Right? The place where you have more importance to material gain. So ultimately, they are later on, coming in touch with the doctor, and these two just ask a couple of doubts and questions to the doctor, and doctor tells them that we don't get anything free here. Actually, Kena and Becha thought that whatever the people and however the people are living over here, everything is available for them free of cost. But doctor makes the point clear that nothing is free over here. In fact, the people work for the country and country provides them facilities and amenities in return. That's all. Nothing beyond that. It means everybody, whether a man or a woman, has to work, has to contribute for the building of the nation, and in return, the society, the community, the country, the government will look after their all types of requirements. Then Kena and Becha says, we are good for nothing. We have no skill at all. Then doctor says, I saw your skill of making a very perfect hole in the wall. I know that you have trained your colleague, that is Becha. Both of you have certain skills, no doubt. If at all a person has at least one skill, he or she can develop other skills as well. Then you just think on a positive line. You take your time. You can stay over here. You can, eat. You can drink. You can move. You can live comfortably. Nobody will object. Nobody will ask you money. As long as you want, you are our guest till you realize the importance of this. Then finally, Kena and Becha come to a conclusion that, yes, I think we can contribute to the building of this nation also. And Kena accepts to work as a builder. Becha decides to work as a gardener. And now they requested doctor whether they can get accommodated in this strange, wonderful, interesting land. And finally, they are merged into this society because Kena and Becha realize the difference between the two. They realize the difference between the capitalistic world and the socialist world. They realize the difference between the country where they really belong to, where you have the free market policy, where you have the liberalization, globalization, privatization, so on and so on. But you need money, whereas here, you get satisfaction, peace of mind without money, and just you need to work for the nation. In return, the country will provide you all these facilities and amenities. So this is how the things are going on. And that's why the author has given a very interesting name, that is Beyond the Land of Hatamala. The place that we live into is a capitalistic world. And these two, once they cross the barriers of the river, reach out to the strange land, that land is the thing. But beyond the land of Hatamala, so that land is a strange land, that land is a communist land, that land is a socialistic land, that land provides everybody everything equally with no inequality at all. Everybody is treated equally. So this is how this play actually goes on, with the thematic concerns of communism versus capitalism, socialism versus material life that we live into. And this is how the author has very effectively talked about it. I hope you know about GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, which was approved by Government of India in 1991. And then onwards, our country has also become the part of the capitalist world. And now we could see so many multinational companies working in our country. There is a lot of importance to money, material gain, material possessions, property, right? So this is the capitalistic. And if you want to compare and contrast, you have a country like Russia. Once upon a time, it was called USSR, and that was a socialist state. All the resources of the country were equally distributed among the people of the nation. So this sort of contradiction is being presented by Badal Sarkar by the means of this play that is Beyond the Land of Hatamala. So thank you very much for patient listening.